Did you know that Edinburgh Castle is built on the basalt core of an extinct volcano? Hi everybody, welcome back to Fun Facts with Faith. Today's fun fact was inspired by Facebook reminding me that it has been 4 years exactly since my friends and I summited Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh. And in memory of that trip, which was really fun, and sort of living vicariously through that because right now I can't go anywhere, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the volcanic history of Scotland. Scotland is not a place that you would really think of as being volcanic, and in fact it's not, and it hasn't been for millions of years. But millions of years ago, it was sort of a hotbed of volcanic activity. And it produced some really interesting rock formations, which can still be seen today. So the one that I wanted to discuss in particular is called Castle Rock, and that is the rock upon which Edinburgh Castle is built. So Castle Rock is what's called a volcanic plug. And so that forms when, behold my diagram. So you have millions of years ago, your land surface is up here. And here's the volcano vent, and it goes down, and down here you'd have like a magma chamber, and the magma would come out, and it would be a volcano. Now at some point, the magma coming up into the vent hardened. And maybe that was after an explosion, or maybe it just sort of like hardened on its way up. It doesn't really matter. The point is it became hard there. Now, the composition of that type of rock tends to be a lot harder than the surrounding rock, and so what happens over millions of years is the land surface erodes away until it's down here. But the hardened plug stays sticking up. So whereas millions of years ago the plug was sort of hidden, now the plug is exposed. Okay. So in the case of Edinburgh and Castle Rock, the erosion happened mostly by glacier. And when that happens, you often get this phenomenon called crag and tail, where one side is really eroded down to just expose the plug, and then the other side there's some sort of preserved land that slopes down other rock. So in Edinburgh you have this situation. So here's Castle Rock, here's Edinburgh Castle up at the top, and then you have a nice slope down to the bottom. It's Holyrood Palace, and then in between the two is the Royal Mile. So Edinburgh Old Town and the Royal Mile is built sort of upon the tail of this crag and tail. And it sort of goes off, like if you imagine the plane of the paper, the Old Town continues off farther in this direction, and then towards me, there's a sort of steep sudden drop off into the Princess Street Gardens. It's really beautiful. Once this is all over and people can travel again, if you have a chance to go to Edinburgh, I really recommend it because it's an amazing city and the architecture is just phenomenal. So Castle Rock is not the only crag and tail in the Edinburgh area. There are several others, including the famous Arthur's Seat, which makes for a good hike if you're ever up there and you feel like you want a beautiful view of the city. Another famous volcanic plug formation, not in Scotland this time, but which might be familiar to some of my friends watching, is the Shiprock, which is a rock formation in New Mexico. And it's very striking because that area of desert is generally pretty flat. And so you're just driving along and it's like flat, and then there's this just rock, like just sort of plopped there in the middle. And that, in fact, is also a volcanic plug. And it's one of the most striking landmarks of the Four Corners region and is sacred to the Navajo. Very cool. If you're in the area, go check it out. That's my fun fact for today. Scotland used to be volcanic, and Edinburgh Castle is built on the surviving volcanic plug. I'll see you tomorrow for more fun facts. Bye.